I think I'm being gaslit by my own house. Or maybe by reality itself. Look, I'm a normal guy. I work a 9 to 5 in insurance, I drink too much coffee, and I finally bought my first fixer-upper in rural Pennsylvania 6 months ago. It's an old Victorian. Creaky floors, peeling wallpaper, the works. But 3 days ago, I found a window in my basement. That sounds boring, right? A window, big deal. Except for two things. First, I've spent every weekend for 6 months renovating that basement, and that wall was solid concrete. Second, the window doesn't look out into my backyard. It looks into a room that shouldn't exist.
It started with the smell. You know that scent of old ozone-heavy air right before a massive thunderstorm? I woke up at 3 a.m. on Tuesday to that exact smell. It was so strong it felt like it was coating the back of my throat. I followed it down to the basement, thinking a pipe had burst or the furnace was acting up. When I flipped the light switch, I froze. On the far wall behind the workbench where I keep my power tools, there was a small, rectangular hopper window. I stood there for 10 minutes just staring at it. I checked the outside of the house later that morning. Nothing. Just a flat stone foundation covered in ivy. But from the inside, there it was. Clean glass, wooden frame, and a view of a hallway. A long, carpeted hallway with flickering fluorescent lights.
I told myself it was some weird architectural fluke. A hidden room from the 1920s, maybe? But the lights in that hallway were on. And they weren't 1920s lights. They were the kind of buzzing yellow strips you see in a depressing office building from the 90s. I decided to film it on my phone. As I leaned in close to the glass, I realized there was no latch, no way to open it. It was just a viewport. That's when I saw the first glitch.
I was looking through the glass when a man walked past the hallway on the other side. He was wearing a gray suit, carrying a briefcase. He looked completely normal, except for one thing. He walked with a perfectly rhythmic, mechanical gait. Thump, slide, thump, slide. He stopped right in front of the window. He didn't look at me. He looked at his watch, tapped it twice, and then, I swear on my life, he reached up to his own face and adjusted his jaw like it was a loose piece of plastic. And he kept walking.
I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard that thump slide sound coming from under my floorboards. The next day, I grabbed a sledgehammer. I was going to break that window. I was going to see what was behind that wall if it was the last thing I did. I swung. Hard. The hammer didn't shatter the glass. It didn't even make a sound. It just sank into the window like it was hitting thick syrup. When I pulled the hammer back, the glass rippled like water and then smoothed out instantly. But I made a mistake. I gained their attention. A face appeared in the window. It wasn't the man in the suit. It was a woman. She looked exactly like my sister. Same hair, same birthmark on her cheek. But her eyes were just flat, matte black circles. No pupils, no whites. She pressed a piece of paper against the glass. It was a handwritten note. It said, "Stop looking. The foundation is leaking." I backed away, tripping over my workbench. As I fell, I looked up at the ceiling of my basement. A drop of something black and oily dripped from the floor joist and landed on my hand. It didn't smell like oil. It smelled like that ozone. Like the hallway. I ran upstairs and tried to leave. I grabbed my keys, threw open the front door, and stopped dead. My porch was gone. My yard was gone. Beyond my front door was the same carpeted hallway from the basement window. The flickering lights, the yellow wallpaper, and the distant sound of thump slide, thump slide. I slammed the door and locked it. I ran to the kitchen window. Hallway. I ran to the bathroom window. Hallway. My house isn't in Pennsylvania anymore. It's a bubble. A glitch in whatever office those things are running.
And the leak the note mentioned? It's getting worse. The black oil is starting to seep through the electrical outlets now.
I'm writing this from my bedroom. It's the only room left that still has a window showing the real world. I can see my neighbor's dog barking at nothing in the distance. But the oil is coming up the stairs. If you're reading this and you're thinking about buying a cheap fixer-upper in the woods, check the basement walls. If they look too solid, too perfect, don't buy it. Because once the foundation leaks, there's no way back out. I hear a knock on my bedroom door. It's not a normal knock. It's the sound of plastic tapping on wood. I think I'm about to meet the landlord.